Hoi! Let's take a look at all the hero changes for the 12th of September update. Abrams gets some very minor tweaks. You can see that the shoulder charge turns a little bit less before, really nothing super significant, but it's there. A very slight percentage reduction in infernal resilience. The shoulder charge stun duration has been reduced from 1 second to 0.85 seconds. I thought this might affect the combo of charging into heavy attack, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't as long as you charge up the heavy attack the moment that you land the charge. Because what could have happened is it gives enough of a window to the enemy to press counter. If that was the case, then obviously this combo would no longer be safely possible. Bebop sees some fairly significant changes. His uppercut no longer roots you during the cast time, so you can just kind of run around with it, which could definitely be useful while you're on the move and trying to poke someone away. And next up, his laser keeps firing when you already charge it up if you're jumping. This does obviously not happen while you're charging it up and jumping, then you have to recharge again. The hook no longer has an alternate cast mode, and if an ally is in front of an enemy, you will now pull the ally again. The hook's base range has been decreased from 35 to 30 meters, but you still get the 30 meter increase on the second perk, so it's not really that much lower. Hyper Beam now does splash damage around where the ability connects the ground. So if I'm aiming up here, you can see it's not splash damage on both targets. But if I'm aiming down here, you can see that dark targeter on the ground. That is what you want to be looking for splash damage. So if someone's hiding around a corner, then you want to target the ground there so you can hit them around the corner. You can see that here, for example, I put an Infernus around the corner. And if I hit the right spot here, I will be hitting him by aiming at the ground. Dynamo's Rejuvenating Aurora no longer gets interrupted by using dodges, for example, by using stamina in any way. So you can't actually jump during this ability, so that won't really matter. But dodging is huge. It means you're able to kind of do a little bit while you are healing up and you're not just a sitting duck. The tier 3 perk on this ability is supposed to reduce to 3.8%, but the tooltip is still the old value. The slow on kinetic pulse tier 1 is reduced from 40% to 35%. The cooldown of Quantum Entanglement is increased by 1 second to 12 seconds, but as you can see, it's actually 12.5. That is because of the global cooldown increase. You'll see that with all other cooldown numbers as well. Ray Talon's charged shots can no longer hit target behind walls. So you can see the Infernus is pretty much around here, and I'm no longer able to hit him in any way. The Guided Owl ult can no longer do damage through buildings as well. The Rain of Arrows weapon damage bonus is decreased from +7 to +4, so almost half, pretty significant. Likewise, the tier 2 bonus is reduced from +7 to +5. The bullet damage growth per boon, so per level up, is increased from 1.46 to 1.8, so you can see that on the left side right here. This is the increase. That's going to be significant when it comes to late game scaling. The Guided All cooldown is also increased, with the global cooldown is now 127 seconds. Haze gets the same treatment. Sleep Dagger can no longer hit enemies behind walls. Infernus base health is reduced from 625 down to 600. Infernus dash slow resistance has been buffed from 30 to 50%, so you can see it's not very noticeable anymore compared to before. Ivy's airdrop silence and slow debuff duration has supposedly been reduced from 4.5 to 4 seconds, but the tooltip still says 4.5 here for the silence. Kelvin's Arctic Beam's fire rate slow has been reduced from 80 to 40%, and the movement slow has been reduced from 80 to 70%. Keep in mind that this is a stacking slow. This doesn't immediately slow down an enemy for that much. It's more about if you hold it onto them, that's the max value that it can reach. Kelvin's beam had been very oppressive, so it's not really a surprise that this is happening now. Using Frozen Shelter now makes objectives frozen as well. So you can, for example, no longer claim the Rejuvenator while you're in Frozen Shelter, only afterwards. This even applies for things like the Guardian here. You can see he's still doing some abilities, but he's technically frozen, so you can't just burn him down like this, and this goes for base pushes as well. Very significant means Kelvin is going to be able to sneak a whole lot less in terms of objectives, because you just freeze everything when you use the dome and you have to unfreeze that first to do anything. But all of that doesn't mean that you can't use it to claim a Rejuvenator. All you have to do is charge up a heavy, cancel as you're claiming it. No enemy will be able to get in unless they're already in with you. So in some ways, it's not going to be that much worse. In other ways, it's going to be a bit more of a problem. But again, Kelvin was very oppressive in those regards before. If you're enjoying the video so far, consider subscribing and clicking the bell for more Deadlock content. There is a special scenario for Kelvin. It says in the description that Ice Path and Arctic Beam can now also be cancelled by hitting the ability key again. That currently doesn't work if you're still using the cancel key option that I showed you earlier, only if you're using the new option and the new option only. The downside of using a cancel key is what I'll show you here. If I'm using my E or my ice path and I'm using my beam and I only want to cancel one, that's not possible. I need to cancel both. And if you have dedicated cancel buttons, or rather have the option to press the key again to cancel, then you could selectively cancel only the path or only the beam, which I think has some use cases, in particular if you just want to cancel the path. Lady Geist Essence Bomb tier 3 has the damage increased from 22 to 26%. Keep in mind that this is per second, so quite a significant increase. Along with that, the Essence Bomb Spirit scaling has supposedly increased from 1.05 to 1.15, but it actually shows 1.2 in-game. I'm not sure if this is just a rounding thing or if it's actually got boosted even higher here. Apparently, with Malice, multiple bloodshots got absorbed by one hero, and now this should be working as intended, and it should continue on to other targets, as you can see there. Your self-damage no longer consumes your shields, which is massive because it means that Enchanter's Barrier is now an option on Lady Geist, which could be quite useful. Lash Ground Slam now allows you to turn during the descent, and that also means you can re-aim the ability. So I'm aiming here, and then I can kind of flick my camera to the other side a little bit, and if I do it quickly enough, it'll turn a little bit. It doesn't do a full 180 or anything, at least not as far as I can tell, but it will do a certain degree of turn. This will make it a whole lot harder to juke this ability reliably. In return, his bullet damage scaling per level is reduced from 1.15 to 0.9. His ground strike spirit damage scaling has been increased from 0.78 to 0.85. For some reason, again, it shows 0.8 here. And the ground strike damage per meter has been increased from 0.045 to 0.05. McGinnis Medicinal Spectre has been reduced from 6 meters to 5 meters in radius, but the radius increases with spirit power now. This is what the radius looks like without spirit power. And this is what the radius would look like with insane spirit power, so you can cover a lot of ground with that. You can no longer wall jump from the spectral wall, which I think is quite unfortunate. I thought that was a cool mechanic. On the other hand, you can place the wall a bit closer to you, a single meter quicker than before. The duration has also been reduced from 6 to 5 seconds. Heavy Barrage's spirit scaling has been increased from 0.3 to 0.35, showing 0.4 in-game. The minimum range has been reduced from 7 to 6 meters. This is actually a buff. It means you can shoot enemies that are a little bit closer to you. And your mini turret's bullets will fly a little bit faster. More Krill can now cast Scorn during combo, so you can maybe get a little bit of healing during it, especially if there's a lot of enemies around. The tier 2 duration increase is also reduced from 1 second to 0.75 seconds. Paradox Ult is no longer able to hit targets behind walls, but if you have vision of them, you still can. For Pocket, the Barrage amp per stack is reduced from 7% to 6%. That's not the last perk on it, just for the base value. The Barrage slow is also reduced from 40 to 30%. You can't accidentally double fire Flying Cloak anymore and instantly cast it. There's a little bit of a wait period until you can actually do that now. So if you spam the button very, very quickly, it won't happen immediately. It takes like less than a second, but a little bit more, so you won't waste it as often. 7 no longer has 8% base bullet resist. Not sure why you ever had that in the first place. His bullet resist also no longer scales with boons, meaning with level up. 7's headshot reduction has been increased from 25 to 35%. I didn't even know he had that in the first place. I guess it's because of his particular big head. Stormclaw damage has been reduced from 124 to 110, and the radius at its maximum has been reduced from 30 to 25 meters. The cooldown has been reduced from 180 to 148 in return, and the audio is now a little bit clearer when it's cast. Shiv's Serrated Knives no longer hits enemies behind walls. The Slice and Dice damage has been reduced from 125 to 105. The deferred damage cleared by Bloodletting has been reduced from 50 to 40%. The Killing Blow damage from Full Rage has been reduced from 25 to 20%. Instead, the Tier 2 upgrade now grants a 5% bonus damage. Vindicta's bullet damage has been reduced from 14 to 13. The Stake Tier 1 duration has been reduced from 0.75 to 0.5. I think they might need to target the base duration of that ability as well. The Assassinate bonus souls are now shared with assisters. I'm not sure if that only applies for the base value or also the upgrade value, but some Vindicta players may not be too happy about this one if this was their main means of farming. Crow Familiar now reduces bullet armor by 6%, a very strong effect. The impact damage has been reduced from 50 to 40 in return, however. The spirit scaling has also been reduced from 1 to 0.8, and the spirit power duration scaling has been reduced from 0.04 to 0.03. You can now use stamina while flying, in other words, you can now dodge in the air to get a boost in any direction you want. Using spacebar will no longer cancel the ability, but instead will actually be the new way to fly up as well. Assassinate now gets a 20% headshot bonus. You can see if I fully charge this one here, it's 160 on the body, 192 on the head. The Assassinate scope now ends when you are stunned. Keep in mind that once the unit-specific hotkeys actually work, you can bind Assassinate to your right click, which may feel a lot more natural for some scopers out there. Viscous Pedal Punch now knocks people in the cube in the air, but be careful with that because if you don't watch out, you might actually punch from the cube instead. The Puddle Punch also has an effect beforehand now, so it doesn't just come out of nowhere anymore. Viscous base bullet damage is reduced from 14 to 13. The splatter damage is reduced from 110 to 100, quite significant since that is a very strong poke tool in lane. The goo ball turn rate has been improved slightly, and the stun rate of the goo ball has been reduced from 1.5 to 1.25 seconds, so it stuns a bit more often. This is a buff. The Puddle Punch will also no longer go through Unstoppable. Warden's bullet growth has been reduced from 1.31 to 1.2. This is referring to the bullet damage per boon per level up, so it's not actually got anything to do with weapon spread or growth of the projectiles. The Chemical Flask debuff duration has been reduced from 7 seconds to 6 seconds instead. The radius has also been reduced from 7 meters to 6.5 meters. While channeling Last Stand, your ultimate, you now get 50% bullet resist. I'm assuming, since it says while channeling, this is specifically referring to the wind-up phase and not the ult duration itself. Wraith card trick base damage is reduced from 100 to 80, and the spirit scaling is increased from 1.2 to 1.5. This means a little less pressure from this in early game, but more late game scaling possibilities if you're going for a spirit heavy build, which Wraith can definitely do. Yamato's ammo scales with spirit power, which is quite nice because she generally plays well with spirit power anyways. The scaling is 0.15, but you can see here, for example, with 77 spirit power, I'd double my ammo to 24. The full charge damage of Power Slash is reduced from 170 to 160. It is her main pressure and poke tool, so this might have some impact in early. Yamato's grapple had its post-cast duration, the post-delay, reduced from 0.5 to 0.2. So you can see this is quite quick, there's not much of a delay anymore. But it is worth keeping in mind that cancelling it is technically still faster. I can just immediately do other things again. But if you cancel it, it also comes with a little bit more momentum that you carry, which often will be good, but not always. So you'd have to decide for yourself in which situations you'd rather carry that momentum forward and move maybe slightly beyond the enemy, maybe if they are running away from you in that moment, and in which situations you'd rather stop right on the enemy and have a slight delay of 0.2. Either way, it feels way, way, way better than it did before when it was at 0.5. Yamato's alt fire now benefits from conditional damage, like for example point blank, close range effects and others. The Shadow Transformation bullet and spirit resist has been reduced from 55% to 40%. Quite impactful, especially since some Yamato players tend to use the ult relatively early just to reset cooldowns and then also utilize the resist during that. So this will be felt, I think. Power Slash can now be interrupted with a parry if someone's trying to jump you while you're doing your Power Slash. You don't have to eat that anymore now. You may be able to get out of it and parry quickly. If you found this informative and you want to see more like it, then consider subscribing and clicking the bell. Thanks to my patrons for supporting this video, and thank you for watching. SLOTH, out.